So I'm adding a USB charger to my 2011 Sportster 1200 XL custom. So I've already got most of the disassembly done. Lots of videos maybe on that, but I'll just go through quickly the things that you do. The first thing that you do is you disconnect the fuel pump harness, which runs up into the fuel tank. You disconnect the vent hose, which just slides right off, and then you disconnect the fuel line that goes from the fuel pump down to the injectors or wherever it goes. So you just push up on the little silver sleeve, and then this pops right out. And there's a little bit of fuel leak, so have a rag handy. Okay. And then the next thing that we do now, we have access to everything we need. The way I'm going to do it is I have already a battery tender mounted on the battery. So when I'm not charging it, I have this charger that'll be connected to the tender. So it'll connect right here to the battery tender. I'm going to route this wire through the harness, main harness that goes along the frame. It'll go up under this cover here, basically through where the other wire harness goes. So it'll come out right under the speedo, and then I'll clip it right to the line here for the clutch, no, this isn't the clutch. This is the controls for the turn indicator, etc. But anyway, then the charger itself, right here. Maybe I'll mount it like this so you can actually read it. And it'll come down. I'll clip the wire to the. You know what? I'm going to turn this upside down so that it's coming up out of the bottom. I'll have the charger right down here. So I'll have the charger right down here, so you can. So it's kind of more hidden and kind of out of the way. And then I'll just run the line across here and down and hide it. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's kind of done before I button it up. So I've got the wire routed now. So what I did is I have it coming, starting at the battery tender, and I've added electrical tape to cover it up because there's a red wire and a black wire, and I don't want to be able to see the red wire. So it comes underneath and into the main harness protector, and so you just tuck it in there. You can see the red wire now down in there maybe, but you tuck it in there just running along the harness. Then it comes out here, and again I've covered it with electrical tape, and it comes up under the fork tree and out, and it's going to be tucked up here when the cover goes back on, and then it plugs in to the charger here. Okay, and it'll be kind of behind the phone when I'm underway. So the USB will plug in here, and it'll come out and go right into the phone. So it takes maybe I don't know, 20 minutes to do it all. It's really easy to disassemble the bike down to this point. So maybe another 20 minutes, and we'll have it done. I'll show you and of course, you know, I have it in here loose now, so you want to wire tie up as much because you don't want it hanging on the engine. So I've got it underneath this injector harness between that and the frame, so it's not, and I'll tie everything up so it's not touching the engine or anything. I don't want anything touching the engine that's because the engine moves. It's vibrating around a lot. Anything that moves that's touching will eventually get worn through. So you want everything fixed, no movement. Okay, so I have it pretty much installed now. So again, starting at the battery tender, goes up and it follows the fuel pump harness. I've got that wire tied to the fuel pump harness connector. And then, excuse me, I got wired to the fuel pump little H bracket, they call that. And then it goes up under the tank as I showed. So I got the tank back on. And it comes out from underneath the tank, and I have it wired tied to all the other harness clusters up through the tree, out of this little hidey space, right into the charger itself. So it sits behind my phone. I can raise my phone up a little bit so you can see it. So it's upside down, but hey, that's okay. So whenever you want to use it, you just undo the thing. It's got 2 ports in it. You plug it in, and then you plug it into your phone. Okay, and then you push the button to turn it on. And it gives you a voltage check on your battery too. And then it charges your phone. So you just got to keep a little short one. I'm going to see if I can get a black one. And so needless to say, you want to make sure you turn it off when you're not running the bike, because it's going to drain the battery. But again, the key things are keeping the harness tight to the frame and to other things, so it's not moving. You want to keep it out of the engine heat area, off of anything that's vibrating. You want to keep it protected while it's underneath the tank. You want to tie it, you just want to follow existing harnesses wherever you can. Make sure you check the range of motion of the motorcycle, as with any of them. If you're tied to a regular harness, you're pretty good. You're pretty sure you're going to have the range of motion, but make sure you check it anyway. A couple of things you want to check is you want to make sure that that little channel that the harnesses flow in, you want to make sure you lock those connectors in place after you're done, because you open it up by removing these little connectors. You want to make sure they're locked back in place. Make sure you use check the torque values. Make sure that you torque the 2 tank fasteners 15 to 20 inch-pounds. I took it to 17. So really, to take the tank off, it's pretty easy. It's the fuel pump connector, which is behind the side, easiest to get to behind the left side cover. The vent, which just pulls off, and the little quick disconnect, the fuel pump output, and then the 2 bolts front and rear. So when you're putting this back together, this little sleeve, if you can see that, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a gap, because this thing slides up. The little silver housing slides up, so you can pull the connector out. When you push it in, make sure you slide it back down again, or else fuel is going to be free flowing out of there and make a big giant mess. So be careful. That's always dangerous. And obviously don't be lighting anything around you when you're working on the fuel tank and fuel lines. So I think that worked out pretty good. I hope this helped somebody. So now we're ready to put the seat back on. Very easy. Just ka-cha. Look at that. And a screw. And done. Look at that. I love Harleys. They're probably all like this, but alright. Enjoy it. So I'm putting my little harness cover back on. And sometimes when you're putting a screw in, they slip out. This thing fell down here somewhere. And I've got this beautiful clean garage floor. You'd think I'd be able to find that sucker. Well, you know where it went? It ended up going all the way under the stinking shelf. It took me 10 minutes to find that effing thing. Man. Do you believe in karma? Because as soon as I said, hey, it only took me 20 minutes to take it apart, it shouldn't take too long to put it back together, of course the universe is going to mess with me. So that screw I thought I found was actually a boat screw that I must have dropped who knows when. It's a stainless steel screw. So guess where that one ended up being? Man, it took me forever to find this thing. So I don't know if you can see it or not. It fell down next to the head down there. Effing thing. So you gotta grab it out with your handy dandy tool thingy. Did you ever play Operation as a kid? Oh, I dropped it. Now where'd it go?